Hi, I'm Movie Man. I'm an octopus who reviews movies, and today's review is going to be on. Now, let me just start off by saying this. This movie, I did not have very high expectations for it. Like I know, obviously this movie is based off of a video game, and I'll say this: I have never played any of the games. I've never been a fan of this franchise, so yeah. Just to make that clear. I don't really have that nostalgia towards the games myself, but like from the trailers that we got for this movie, this film just did not look very good to me. Like, this film just looked like a discount Guardians of the Galaxy, you know what I'm saying? It just looks like it was trying too hard to be Guardians of the Galaxy, and not to mention, like, a lot of the humor in the trailer just really wasn't working for me, but I did try to keep an open mind, think maybe it could be a good film, cause there's a good cast in the film, and it's directed by Eli Roth, who is capable of making a good film. Like, he directed Thanksgiving last year. Upon further thinking back, I think I actually gave it a 7 out of 10, but I still thought it was a pretty good movie overall. Try to keep an open mind, maybe it could be a good film, but yeah, the trailers just weren't doing it for me, and not to mention when the reviews started coming out for this film, yeah, my expectations were even lower because, oh boy, the critics were not being very nice to this film. This film actually debuted at 0%, and it gained a small amount of positive reviews, but for the most part, the reviews for this film have been very negative, alright. This film has been doing horribly critically, but having seen the film for myself now, what did I think of it? Yeah, I have to say, this film was actually even worse than I had anticipated. Oh boy. Yeah, let me just say, this is not going to be a very positive review. Oh no. Yeah, I did not like this film. Definitely one of the worst films I've seen so far this year. Let me get that right off the bat, but now going further into my thoughts on the film, in terms of the cinematography, it's not too bad. It is one of the better aspects of the film, I suppose. It's not a horribly shot film. There's some okay shots in this, but visuals really don't help it. More on that later, but it's not a horribly shot film, but I don't think it's particularly great either. Like, it's not amazing, but there are some okay shots in this, I'll admit. So I'll just get off right off the bat. The cinematography is not that bad. Like, it's honestly okay. The editing in this film was not the best, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, it can be edited fine enough at times, but I don't know, there's not really much of a focus to it. The action scenes, well, they're not horrible, but I just don't think they're really edited in a way that makes them really fun and engaging. They're just very very simply edited, and things where a character will have to get away from one of Tiny Tina's bombs and stuff, and the movie edits it in a way to where you're wondering how they got away from it that quickly. Yeah, so it's not horrible editing, but it's definitely not great editing either. So yeah, the editing wasn't the best. Now, in terms of the film's pace, now, thankfully, this isn't a very long film. This movie is 100 minutes long, so, thankfully at the very least it's not that long of a film, but yeah, I don't know, I just don't think the pacing here was really great. We'll talk more on this later, but I don't know, it just felt they could have done a better job with the pacing, really, getting some time with these characters to connect with them and stuff, and actually showing them having a bond with each other, because I don't know, I feel it just moved a bit too quickly to where I just wasn't really able to care for the characters or the story, or even the action with the way that it's edited. Yeah, honestly, I just don't think it was really great. Just overall, the pacing in this film just isn't very good. Now, in terms of the sounds and music in the film, there's one or two needle drops here at times, but they don't really do anything to get you engaged. They're just there for a bit of familiarity, and honestly, the score in this film isn't great. There's some okay tracks at times, but for the most part, it's just very generic. And the sound effects in this movie, not really much else to say there. They're just very generic, not stuff you haven't heard before. Yeah, it's just not great sound or music. Yeah, it's just very generic. The visual effects in this movie, even they're not great. Granted, there are some alright looking effects at times, Like, the design for Claptrap isn't that bad, but like, for the most part, the effects really are not anything to gloss over. They're honestly just kind of poor. Like, there's times where like you can clearly tell that the actors are in front of green screens, because I'm not gonna lie, the green screens actually look like genuinely really poor at times. Yeah, it's just not great looking effects. As I said, it can look okay at times, but like, it's just not great. And while the production isn't horrible, like, it doesn't really do anything to give you that sort of like feel from the games. Because like, from what I'm seeing, this movie doesn't really seem to do a good job of making you actually feel like you're in the world of the games. So yeah, overall the visuals in this movie just aren't great. Now, talking about the characters and the performances from the cast. Now, obviously, I'm not really much of a Borderlands fan. I never played the game, so as I said, I don't have that familiarity with it. But from what I've been told from people who have played the games, apparently one very big criticism with this movie is that the casting choices to play all these characters is just very off. Like, the two in particular which I've really heard a lot of complaints about are like Cate Blanchett as Lilith and Kevin Hart as Roland. Because apparently in the games, Lilith is like a lot younger than she's depicted in this movie. So yeah, Cate Blanchett just wasn't the right choice for her. And like Kevin Hart, like the character who he plays in this Roland, apparently in the games he's like the really kind of serious like soldier character. And well, do you really think of Kevin Hart like when you have this really serious character? And like, I can appreciate you kind of trying to branch out, kind of trying to play, you know, a sort of like, you know, different role, but Kevin Hart just doesn't do a great job here. He's honestly just very bland in this, very wooden. Like, you know, Kevin Hart's not an amazing actor. At the very least, he can be funny in things, but like, I wasn't entertained by his performance here. He was just very flat. And like, in terms of the characters, like, I just didn't really like any of these characters. Like, I just couldn't get attached to any of them. Like, I just found all of them like very kind of flat characters. Although I have to say though, Claptrap, oh man, he was actually so great in this. Like, the whole film, he's just making unfunny joke after unfunny joke after unfunny joke. I'm not gonna lie, there was actually so many times during the film where I actually just wanted to step on him. He was just so annoying. And while normally I am a fan of Jack Black most of the time, he can be a very funny guy, but not here though. This is easily the worst role I've ever seen him in. He's actually annoying here. Yeah, like, this movie actually found a way to make Jack Black, of all people, annoying. I didn't even really think that was very possible, but this movie actually proved it. like, I just didn't like any of these characters. I just couldn't get attached to any of them, as I said. And, like, even the acting from these actors, like, normally I do like a lot of these actors, like, as I mentioned, we have Jack Black in this, and he's normally a very funny guy, and we have Cate Blanchett in here, who is, I've always been a fan of as an actress. She's a great actress, and Jamie Lee Curtis as well, also a great actress, both of them Oscar winners, but this is definitely not any of these actors' best performances. If there's any performance in here that I did think was solid, it was Ariana Greenblatt's Tiny Tina. Like, while I wasn't a fan of her character on this, I thought Ariana Greenblatt, she had a bit of fun in this role, to be fair, but outside of that, like, I just didn't feel that these characters had any chemistry, like with a lot of other characters like these, like the Guardians of the Galaxy, their chemistry with each other is what makes them so great, but oh god, it was actually shocking how little chemistry they all had with each other, because chemistry with all of them was surprisingly so poor. Yeah, I didn't really like any of the characters, and even a lot of the side characters I wasn't really a fan of. Like, even the villain in this movie, Atlas, oh god, he was actually such a bland villain. Like, he's hardly even in the movie for most of it. He doesn't really properly show up until the third act, and like, when he eventually shows up, he's just such a bland and wooden villain. And like, Edgar Ramìrez, his performance really wasn't anything noteworthy. He was just such a bland villain, to be honest. So yeah, overall the characters and the performances were just honestly quite poor. In terms of the film's plot, the movie has a very kind of simple premise, with like, you have this group like coming together, and they're trying to make their way towards this vault, which is said to have like this kind of treasure inside of it, but they're getting haunted by all these groups of people along the way. Very simple premise. Like, I'm pretty sure this is like the premise of like the video games, but like the movie just doesn't do a good job with it. Now, as I've already said, like, since I never played any of these games, I've never really had that attachment to them, but from what I've seen, like, the people who were fans of the game, and stuff, apparently this is just a very poor adaptation. Like, I mean, you can say what you want about films like the Super Mario Bros. Movie or Five Nights at Freddy's. At least those films actually did right by the fans. They were made for the fans, and it was a movie which, even if you didn't think it was a great film, the fans enjoyed it, and that was a lot of the intention behind it. So if the fans were able to enjoy it, they did something right. But apparently this isn't even a good movie for fans of the Borderlands games, because from what I know about the games, apparently they're actually supposed to be kind of violent and kind of, very like crude and stuff. The games are rated M, mature. But this movie is rated 12A, or PG-13 over in America, so she decided to, kind of lower the age rating down, like that if it was for a higher age rating it wouldn't make as much of that moolah. But like, you have to remember, like, well, this is a game which has fans. I know you have to make it like your own film as well, but like, it just isn't like a good film for them. Like, this film is only a 12A, so it's not violent, it's not very bloody, and I think his name was there was a writer who was originally attached to this film, and apparently the script he's written for was apparently kind of decent, but then like Eli Roth and Co came along and they kind of tore it apart, so he actually ended up leaving the film, and like he was credited under a different pseudonym altogether. Like, that already is just really not a good sign when one of the writers leaves the movie and you have to credit it under a different pseudonym, yeah. And like, but even if you take that aside, that it's just not a good movie for the fans, it's just not a good film in general. Like, throughout the movie you can kind of tell alright that they wanted to make this for an older age rating, but it was like torn to shreds and stuff because like, now of course with the action in this film, well, it's not terrible, it's nothing to write home about either, it's just very kind of like very kind of lackluster action. They could have benefited from a higher age rating, should have made some of those action set pieces more engaging, and like, even some of the humor in this movie, like, this film really is not funny at all, but with the humor you can clearly tell, that they're definitely trying to go for that, like, sort of kind of Deadpool style humor, the way you can really properly execute that is with an R rating, or like with a higher age rating, and yeah, the movie just doesn't accomplish that, and honestly it's just very generic and stuff, and it's just very poorly written. I wasn't able to connect with any of the characters or the story. And not to mention, the third act especially is just such a mess. So, overall, the plot of the movie is just really not very good with the way it's all handled and stuff. It's just very poorly done. In terms of the film's narrative structure now, the main plot is the characters trying to get to the vault and stuff, but like, really, the only characters who we get like any sort of depth to are Lilith, Tiny Tina, and Dr. Tanis, I suppose. The depth we do get with these characters just really is not very engaging. Like, with Lilith's character, we kind of do go a bit into her, and with like her childhood and how she got separated from her mother and stuff, and you just don't really care at all. Well, like, and like, not to mention, like, there's even a twist in the third act with her character, and it's just so poorly done. It is literally just so stupid the way that they do it and stuff. Like, honestly, like, the way it all just connects together, it's done so poorly, and it's not done in a way that makes you care about the characters or the story or the world. It's just very poorly done, honestly. So, yeah, overall, the narrative structure is just not very good. So, overall, Borderlands is just a mess of a film, to be honest. Like, I suppose there are kind of some small things to enjoy in this. Like, it has some okay cinematography at times. It's not like a horribly made film. There is like, some decent technicalities, and like, while the acting is great for the most part, Ariana Greenblatt has a bit of fun in there, but for the most part, this movie is just really bad. It's just so poorly done. Like, you don't care for the characters. Acting is very poor. You don't feel the chemistry with the characters, and yeah, the plot is just so generic and dumb that you can't connect with anything. You just don't end up caring, and it's just so poorly done, as I've said. Humor really doesn't work, and yeah, it's terrible both as an adaptation of the games and as a movie. I just really would not recommend this film. Like, you kind of do just want to watch a bit of nonsense. There's definitely way better things you could be watching, so overall, this is not a film that's worth your time at all. So with that, I am going to give Borderlands a 2 out of 10. So with that, I'll see you guys next time, and bye.